Well, we have been busy. I've also gone ahead and cleared out, after the greenification here, an area to start a bamboo farm, and up in here we have our chest, we have a minecart with an unloader. The gate is not currently connected up to anything, and if we get down here you can actually see all the rails, and then the minecart goes in there and then goes back and picks everything up and then goes up to the unloader. And what we have inside here, if I can get around the bamboo, this is simply a return circuit for the flying machine. And the flying machine over here currently has nothing connected up to it, but if we go ahead and pop a block up there and then get out of here real quick, and I'll just chuck that back in. And then what we're going to want to do is release our minecart. So if we just do something like that, that should go off and collect everything up, and we'll pop down here and have a look and see. And it's going through, and then here it comes. It stops. That rail, I've got to try and fix that because at the moment it's a clock, and then it'll unload. And so basically there's a few things left for me to do to this farm. Number one, I want to connect, if I can stay up there. Number one, I want to connect this gate up to when the flying machine goes off, and I also want to set up a hopper clock to trigger the flying machine every so often. So we're going to get started with that. What we're going to want to do is probably just get in here somehow. I'm going to need to go and sort out my inventory and come back. Okay, so we've got our trapdoor set up on the observer, and when that opens that will trigger that. And then we also, when that triggers, want to power this block here so that the gate will then open. And for some reason it hasn't finished uploading that. It hasn't finished unloading, that's why. So we'll keep that there for now. But anyway, what we want to do is then power this block so that that will then push out, right, and collect up all of our bamboo. So to get that going, we're just going to set up a basic hopper clock here. So we'll set up two hoppers facing into each other. We're going to have a comparator on either side of those. We're going to knock out a block here, and we'll put a block here. We're going to get some redstone dust out. We're going to put the redstone dust on the side of those blocks, sticky pistons next to the comparators, and then simply a redstone block just like so. Now what I want to do is, when the redstone block is in line with this, which it is currently, I want to take power from that, and we will put a block here, and we'll put a repeater into that, which means that will trigger. And I actually probably just want to move this back one because I don't want it triggering just when the redstone block is there. So we'll move this back. We'll just carve out another little space here. Alright, so when the redstone block is there, now that we've pushed this back a little bit, then the trapdoor will trigger. And we also just want to carry this down here. So I'm going to need probably a bit more dust, but we'll use a sequence of some repeaters and blocks as well. So it's pretty simple. We're all set up now, so you can see that the trapdoor is powered, and if we take this line down here, we've got a few repeaters and a few blocks, and then this line is powered and that is on. And if we take one of those out just to sort of interrupt the signal, then it will close the gate. So now what we want to do here is load up our hoppers. Oops. And this will, the duration of this will depend on how many blocks you have in these hoppers. So now we've got, this many blocks, and once this empties, this piston will fire, the redstone block will move here, this will unpower, and then it will start filtering back the other way. And that will just give us a nice little time for everything to grow in here. And hopefully once that circuit finishes, then oops, something's gone wrong here. Don't really need to worry about the comparator down here anymore. I just need to have that rail powered permanently. So, because the gate is sort of taking care of it staying there, you know? And there we go. The bamboo is emptying into our chest here. And if we can, oh well, there you go. It just powered and it's off again. So that means the flying machine is going, which you can hear, hopefully. So let's get down here. There you go, the flying machine has run. The bamboo should be getting picked up, if we can see this stuff here. There we go, some just got picked up. All the rest of that will get picked up. And this will actually trigger again once more. And I mean, hopefully, you know, when this depowers, this will go down and the flying machine will trigger again. Hopefully the cart is already running at that point, but I think this bamboo farm is going to be more than efficient enough for what we need, especially once all of that bamboo is grown, because, I mean, let's just wait up here and see how much we get. So I mean, we're getting a stack and a half just about every time the farm runs one full pass. So that's pretty good, and we've still got some bamboo in there that's not fully grown, so I actually might sort that out with some bone meal right now. I've got some bone blocks in here somewhere. And that should make it even more efficient. So we'll get on out here, patch that up, and we are all done. It's not looking the best right now. We've still got to probably do some terraforming around that. But I think that's looking pretty good. We've got a little gateway there into the railway as well. And how does it fit into the total landscape here? I think that's going to look pretty cool. I think that is going to look pretty cool. Once we've got a bit more terraforming around here, we've got space up here for a little something as well, which I might do. Not sure. I do want to build a sugarcane farm as well, but probably not in this episode. I think I might just do that off camera, which I've done mostly the rest of this stuff off camera. But for now, let's head on out of here and head on over to our winter village, where I have also been doing some work in preparation. I'm trying to record, buddy. Where I have been doing some preparation for a new build, or a couple of new builds actually, which we are going to go ahead and do in this episode right before we finish off. And that is going to start to that winter village to somewhere where we want it. So I'm going to clean up my shulker boxes here, and I'll head on over and see you there very soon. Alright, so we're in the winter village now. Let's just get our shulker boxes out here. I've already got some spruce logs, which are going to be for the frame. We're going to follow a sort of similar design to the cabin that we built on the hill, except we're not really going to have an indent, I don't think. So I've also got some bamboo, which I'm just going to use to sort of frame the place, and I'll get some scaffolding out as well. And so we'll try and figure this out. Whoa. And here we are, we've got frost fin fish, and we've got the nice little item frame with the fishing rod on there. I tried to play around with an armor stand here, but I think what we might do is possibly in the future look into the invisible item frames and armor stands data pack. We've got a nice little painting, a nice little pot plant, a lantern, some nice windows for the outlook, and I've got a little fishing hole out there for him. And we've got a nice tropical fish on top of the barrel there. So that barrel will obviously set the villager once we've got one in here to a fisherman. And let's just go ahead and sleep. If I can find a bed around here. So, now that we've slept and we're refreshed, obviously this building looks a little bit stark without any overhangs and detail, and it sort of sticks out compared to these ones, but we're going to build, I think we're going to crack on with 2 more, so I might get a Fletcher right in here, and maybe move the stone cutter up onto this hill as well, so, or the stone mason. So let's go ahead and get into another time lapse. And we'll build those 2 out and come back once we're all finished, and I'll show you the interiors of those as well. But I'm pretty happy with how this is looking so far. This is not a bad interior, and I know it looks a little bit odd, but we're trying to keep a relatively small footprint just so that we can have, you know, some utility to these, just as like little shops and things, and might build some houses for bedrooms and things at a later date too. But let's get cracking on into the builds. Alright, now that we've got those built, a building is not a building without a door and an interior. So I've got the ceiling in on this one. I don't know if I've done that for the stonemason, but what we're going to do in this one is just something very similar to what we had done in the fletching shop, in the fishing shop, I should say. This is the fletching shop. So we'll just place down the fletching table there. We're just going to get a spruce fence and pop that there, and a nice little flower pot with a bamboozle. There we go. And on the table here we'll place one of these lanterns, so that'll keep it nice and lit up. So for this one I've gone for the stone floor. This one's very, very similar to the fishing shop, but just a little bit smaller. Actually, what we also want to do is get some signs out, and we'll hang them up here and give this a name. We'll call this one Frostbite Fletchers, so we'll just put that on this side too. And there we go. So now we are all ready for a Fletcher to come in here and start to work. Now for the stonemason, I'm actually going to need to move the guy across to here, and I want to just go ahead and build out a little wall here as well, and then we'll put the stone cutter there. And I actually think we might make this a little bedroom for him. So let me have a think here. We pop that there and that there, and then we'll put a flower pot on one with a, we don't have any flowers to put in that, but then we'll put a lantern on this side. We'll put a bed in here, maybe. Let's go get him first. So he should be in here, and if we can strategically kite him over here with his tools, because we still want him to recognize the stone cutter, obviously, because he is locked, because I've traded quite a bit with him, and that is why he gets a nice big building too, because this guy has to be rich with the amount of stone that I've sold him. He has been working overtime, and he's standing on the block that I want to place this on. There we go. Alright, so we've got the stone cutter in place, and he is our first villager that has actually moved in. We'll just maybe grab this bed from here for now, and relocate this bed. We're going to get some, oh that's awesome, we're going to get some snow on the roofs for the final flyover a bit later. Here we go, bed is in place. We just need a plant of sorts. Let's go have a look for a plant. We'll get some sugarcane maybe for him. Here we go. Hopefully we can put this in flower pots. But even from here, that's looking pretty nice, I think, actually. And he also will need a door, of course. So let's get on back up here. Hopefully the sugarcane works as a pot plant. It does not. Okay. We will search. So we've got his door there, and we'll do a spruce sapling for the plant. So I think that's looking pretty good. Obviously it's a pretty bare bones sort of thing. We also need to get a ceiling in place. So what I'm doing for the ceilings, in case you haven't noticed, is just doing bottom slabs like this, and that will stop mob spawning from up there, so because they can't spawn on half slabs, which is saving me a bit of time having to light it up and things. Although that's, you know, these villages are blessed. They're getting the high ceilings. You know, that's very coveted in the real estate world. Jeez, I thought that was a creeper. But this is looking pretty good as far as commercial property goes. This is the one, ladies and gentlemen. What what is missing is probably a few windows, right? We'll just pop that in there. One other thing I wanted to say was having my shulker boxes all organized like this actually helps out so much. Like, there are so many builds I go into now, and I'm just like, I don't even think about it. I've already got my resources. I just pop my end chest down and get started. That'll be enough for that one. And probably not gonna have. I think we'll just do 2 slits in this one. That's a pretty nice view of the village that he's got here from his house. This is what do they call it? Mixed use property. It's commercial and his house. So he's a lucky chap here. He's saving a lot of money. He's making a lot of money from all the stone and goods that he's getting here. But as the snow settles on the build here, let's take ourselves up for a little bit of a look-see from above, and we'll get sort of way out here so that we can see the village in context. And a bit of a spin. Get a bit higher. And a bit of a spin. And coming back now. So the snow settling on the roofs definitely helps it blend in a little bit more. Slow down here. I actually quite like that. Obviously the oak is standing out quite a bit at the moment. But we have got oak on this one as well, remember? And eventually we're going to tear down essentially all of this village and build our own houses. So we're going to have a mix of this stony look, which I've used a bit of cobble, andesite and stone bricks, which you will see in just a minute. So polished andesite stone, cracked stone bricks, andesite and all that jazz. So we're going to have a mixture between these oaky looking places and these stony looking places. So the stony sort of places are going to be reserved for mostly, I guess, like industrial sort of places. So like the blacksmiths and the weaponsmiths and the stone cutters or stonemasons. And then these will be reserved for more like, you know, houses and fishermen and things like that. So I think I'm going to leave the episode there for today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this one, and things are starting to get exciting and ramp up, and we're getting a few resources, especially now that we've got our bamboo farm going. So we've got quite a bit of bamboo. I've got, not that we're going to really build out of these, but I can use these as good markers and things for my redstone contraptions. And we're going to need a name for the stonemason there, so leave a comment below. The best comment is going to get their name on that building. We'll try and keep in the theme of frost, so I've got frostbite. Oh, I'm going to also want to just grab some white dye out there and change this to white. So we've got the frostbite fletchers, we've got the frostfin fish. So what's something snow or frost related for the stonemason? Leave your comment below. I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys, and it's been a nice one. I've actually sort of started to mix up my recording process a little bit, so hopefully that's going to mean a bit more content and a bit better content moving forward, and just going to help me streamline the whole process. But this is exciting, guys. We've got our first buildings in the village that we started in, and it's looking pretty good, especially as it gets into night here now, so that is a good place to call it. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one. Ciao for now.